We're going to drive into the quirky world of IT, from fast food diets to the stresses and joys of troubleshooting tech issues.
And also explore the fascinating universe of 3D printing, from necessary repairs to DIY upgrades, and also take a creative turn into the world of Dungeons and Dragons.
This is Data Drive. Starring Jeff Weston and Robbie Ferguson.
At Data Drive, we only trust our dashcam footage to Kingston Canvas Go Plus microSD cards. They're fast and reliable, even in the harsh seasons faced by us Canadian drivers.
Do you have a device that could use a Kingston upgrade? Your dashcam, action cam, smart home surveillance device, drone, Raspberry Pi, smartphone, or even your Nintendo Switch gaming console.
Upgrade today with Kingston Canvas Go Plus microSD cards.
Data Drive is brought to you by Ameridroid.com. From single-board computers to home automation and accessories, Ameridroid.com offers top-notch products, worldwide shipping, and unbeatable US-based service. Explore endless possibilities with Ameridroid.com.
And Voyager Systems, your responsive IT partner for managed technology, cybersecurity, and future-proof solutions. Let them deal with the technical headaches so you can focus on what matters, running your business. Blast off to success with Voyager Systems, where every journey elevates your business to new heights. VoyagerSystems.cloud.
It's not a surprise that, like, the staple of IT people is, you know, fast food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's no time.
Yeah. That's why people in IT are generally known to be extremely healthy and fit.
Yes, this is true. Arnold Schwarzenegger type physique. Put in a ticket.
How do we get back to this? Yeah, he wouldn't be taking it if people were like, I need this fixed now.
Oh, listen to you, you little crybaby.
It's true.
You'll get it when I give it to you.
One of the things, I love change. You know, I like stability, but I love change.
Yeah.
Like, I love advancement and all that kind of stuff. And that's one of the things I love about IT is you get to play with the change. It's either you're playing with the up and coming, or you're playing with the old and broken, trying to make it stay up with the up and coming. But either way, it's this adventure of how do I make it work?
Yeah.
And I do like that challenge.
It really helps when Arnold Schwarzenegger is not breathing down your neck. You
That's true. I need my email now. It's a great job and career path.
Yeah.
Really do love it. There's so much adventure and excitement to it.
Oh yeah, you're coming up on a year in IT, aren't you, Jeff?
Says the new guy.
Yep. I was thinking today how, like, I deal with so many big stresses, big corporate stresses, but the fact is that each one is like this fun troubleshooting task where you just got to work it out.
Yep.
And as long as you keep a good attitude and just kind of work on it, work it out, figure it out.
Yeah,
fix it.
What makes them stressful is when there's like, oh, I need this fixed yesterday and I'm just letting you know about it now. And so it's like you don't have time to figure out and play the triage game that they expect you to.
Yeah.
Like that's where it gets stressful, but the actual figuring it out is a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I love exploring and researching. Oh, it's good.
Yeah. I learned a lot about different technologies just by troubleshooting them.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Have you been doing much 3D printing?
I have not touched my 3D printer. Printers.
Says the guy who is like, oh, I'll get that one and that one and that one.
Yeah, we have 3 3D printers at home.
Yeah.
A filament printer and 2 resin.
2 resin.
Yeah.
Well, that's right, because you upgraded to a larger.
That's right.
It's not called a bed. What do they call it?
Like a
Larger basin?
yeah basin, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I gave the little one to my middle child,
Cool.
but I haven't had a chance to teach him how to use it yet. But yeah, I have not touched my 3D printers, any of them, since October of 2022.
No!
Yeah,
Are you kidding?
I kid you not.
Dude!
It's
Your
been
filament is all going to be cracked.
well, no, I've got them. I've got the ones that are open. I have them in a sealed bag with
Got some desiccant in there or something?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I refresh them. But most of my filament is still sealed. But there was a really, really good deal on resin a couple of weeks ago, so I bought some more resin, and I need to get back into it. It's just
Definitely. I'd love
so
to see
busy.
some resin prints because I only have FDM.
Right.
I've got an Ender 3 Pro.
Yeah.
No, pardon me, an Ender 3 V2
Yes.
is the printer that I have.
Yeah.
Which I've done some custom upgrades to and stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing over the top, but...
No, but your setup's cool. I like.
Well,
the-
my trick is I set up my 3D printer in a permanent home.
Yep.
So you never have to move it around. You never have to set it up. You never have to re-level it. It's like, it's always where it is, and it's ready to be turned on at any point in time. And that really helps me to be able to use it, because if I get tools and put them in a box or something and have to set them up, I'll never use them.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to spend more time in front of my printer, but
Yeah, I did some basic stuff lately. One of our A-frame signs got damaged. The feet, the casters got broken off
yes.
when it was stored for the winter. So, in order to keep the A-frame from damaging our carpet at the studio, I just measured and printed some new feet for it.
Yeah, they were very cool feet. By the way.
They worked
well.
perfectly.
Yeah.
So, and it was a fast print, cheap print, 14 cents per foot.
Yes,
But just goes to show like how it's just one of those things. It's like, well, I would have had to buy new casters, which would have cost me $40.
Yeah.
And maybe I could have found feet for them, but that would have probably been $15 or something.
Plus the time of figuring
Plus
it out.
finding it, picking it up, getting it delivered, whatever it is.
It's so much more fun to just measure and
Yep.
through micrometer.
Just
and
use a caliper.
Yeah.
Which allows me to get a perfect measurement down to the millimeter. And then I take it into Tinkercad,
Yep.
which is just a website provided by Adobe.
Adobe? I didn't know that.
Is it Adobe? AutoCAD. It's an AutoCAD program. Are they related? Maybe I'm wrong.
I feel like we know to the
Tinkercad.
Googles now.
Yeah, okay. Who owns Tinkercad? Maybe it's AutoCAD. No, it's got to be Adobe. It starts with A. But
Apple.
yeah. No, it's just a website that allows you to do 3D designs. And because I'm pretty basic, it works perfectly for me. Because
Autodesk.
It is AutoCAD. Okay, Autodesk, the makers of AutoCAD. So I knew it started with A.
Yeah. I love the way that they promote themselves. 3D design for idiots.
Oh, is that what they call me?
That's awesome.
I just finished saying it's the perfect site for me.
Well, you know what? I hate to tell you, but you are an idiot.
Thanks, man. When it comes to 3D designs, I said on a recent interview, I said, well, I do functional designs and prints. I am not an artistic designer.
Oh,
So
gosh, no.
I don't design things like dragons,
No.
but I design things that are functional, that save me a bit of money, save me a bit of hassle. I had the water, or like the drain stopper in the bathroom in our house in the powder room had broken.
Yep.
And I bought a new one, replaced it with a replacement, and it wasn't a perfect fit. I would have had to replace the whole drain assembly and everything to get the proper fit. And so I'm like, oh, forget this. and I measured with my caliper.
That's right.
And I 3D printed a new drain stopper, and it's a perfect fit. It's exactly the way I wanted it. It's better than the one that came with the sink.
Yeah.
And I just, because it's FDM, doesn't last forever.
Right.
So I get about 6 months out of it, and I just keep reprinting it.
Now, if I would be intrigued to see how it does with resin. Because
it'd be much better with resin, because you don't have the porous nature of FDM prints with PLA.
And I mean, with resin now, you can get rubber resin. So like it cures.
So is it like flexible a little bit? Nice.
Yeah. So it makes me wonder.
I totally want to make my bodysuit out of that. I feel like you're looking at me funny.
That just. That's how you kill a conversation.
On this road we glide, tech and trends in the dashboard light. Every mile we drive, conversation sparked, buried to the T.night. In this ride, ideas is thrive through the 400. Watch us arrive. Under stars that tech has made brighter. Every moment the world feels lighter. Data drive under cyber skies with tech talk that never dies.
The one thing that I do kind of want, and I'm so tempted to buy, and this is the nice thing about something like a 3D printer, especially like the kind of modular ones like the Ender 3, is that you can upgrade it, add components, make it better and better so that it's more custom. But
yes.
So I've actually, ironically, I've 3D printed upgrades that snap onto my 3D printer.
Yes.
And make it better.
Yep.
So like things like a cable lead so that it doesn't get snagged or break when it's pulling it down into the not the extruder, but the mechanism that pulls the
feed,
the filament through. But I was speaking with Anthony, our alarm guy, and we had gone out for dinner, and he was telling me about his printer, which is the same printer, and I'm like, oh, you've got the Ender 3 as well? He's like, yeah, but I got the automatic bed leveling.
Oh, cool.
Upgrade. And I'm like, okay, tell me more.
Yeah.
But like, I do really, really well with the bed leveling, but it can be really frustrating because I'm not always at the studio where the printer is.
Yeah.
So I like it when I get it dialed in and I can just set it out to print, and I watch the first few layers and then I leave.
Yep.
And I've got a Wise Cam that keeps an eye on things for me, and then I can remotely shut it off if I need to.
Yeah.
But because I watch for spaghetti messes and stuff like that.
Oh yes.
But so I started looking at this device that he was telling me about, and what it is it's like an inverted button that gets attached to your head of the 3D printer, so onto the hot end kind of area, and so it goes into each corner of your bed and it touches down and it's got like this pressure sensitive button that feels where it's touching the bed.
Yep.
So even if your bed is a little bit askew, it will feel where the bed actually is. And then it will check the other corner and the other corner and the other corner. And you think, okay, well, that's fine, because it's not, well, how does it work? It's not going to actually, it doesn't have motors. It's not going to level the bed.
Right, but it will adjust the print.
It adjusts the G code.
Yeah, yeah.
So it automatically then counteracts the lack of levelness of the bed within your G code to be able to automatically know, okay, if I'm supposed to be at -1 millimeter Z here, but I know that there's a -6 millimeter offset, I'm actually going to go down to -7 when I'm printing over here, and it actually
will adjust.
So it adjusts in real time the G code so that it prints it perfectly every time. You don't have to level. You don't have to, because I'm constantly screwing around with the inability to get adhesion.
Oh yeah,
that's the worst.
Yes. Now, do you have a glass bed or do you use
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I use as well.
I do like the glass bed, but adhesion can be a problem if I don't get it perfectly level.
Yeah.
And I use just alcohol wipes,
To
the
keep it
same.
clean?
Yeah, well, every time I heat it up, so I take the bed up to temperature,
Yep.
and then I wipe it down with like a sterile wipe. It's the same little pad that you would get if you were a nurse and you were doing
Yep.
like injections. So
Yes.
they use it to clean the wound. So it's not like a hand wipe, because those have moisturizer and stuff like that, which
Yes.
would have the exact opposite effect.
Yeah.
It's just isopropyl alcohol in a cloth.
Okay.
And so I wipe it down every time I heat up the bed, let it evaporate from the heat, and then I do find that helps with the adhesion.
See, I used to do that, and I was finding that I was still having issues. And it could have very well been my filament, I don't know. But I was looking online, and one of the things that consistently popped up is that if you have struggles with adhesion and you can't figure out what it is,
Yeah. Are you going to say nozzle?
no,
All right.
do a quick run across your bed with a glue stick.
Yeah, I've seen people do that.
Yeah, so so I cleaned my bed,
Yeah.
and then I'll do just a quick run of glue stick.
Oh, and you actually do it?
Yeah, and then it heats up so that it becomes more tacky, and then as it prints, it creates that
Oh.
adhesion to the bed.
Okay.
And then
So it's actually like a bit on the gummy side.
yeah,
Okay.
which helps hold it down from any sort of
Interesting.
adhesion issue,
Yeah.
but not enough that it prevents or that it makes it like it glues it to the glass.
Yeah.
And then I just pull it off.
Nice.
It's great.
I found that the biggest thing that I learned to improve my prints when it started having trouble was to change my extruder nozzle.
Yes.
Just the little tiny brass nozzle. I bought a bulk kit off of Amazon. It was a couple of bucks.
Yep.
I bought the tool to do it so I wouldn't burn my finger, because you got to preheat the hot end
Yeah.
so that it's, because it expands, right? So
Yeah.
it can get really, really tight in there. So you heat it up, remove it, replace it with a brand new one, and it just prints like butter all
Yeah.
over. It's like getting a brand new printer. And when you get that hot end, the nozzle out, and you look at it and you say, I've been printing with that.
Well, yeah.
You can tell, like, oh yeah, this thing was end of life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for a little 25-cent upgrade, I'm very, very pleased with that.
Yeah. It goes to show you just a little bit of, TLC on the maintenance end.
Oh yeah,
And, like-
that's it. How many 3D printers go to e-waste or sit by the curbside for pickup by somebody that's like, okay, I wonder why they threw this out, just because they haven't been doing bed leveling.
Yep.
Or making sure that the bed has good adhesion. Maybe they got some dust on it or something and it's not sticking anymore. They touched it with their fingers, which had oily skin or something.
Yep.
I just put hand cream on and then I was like touching the who knows, right?
exactly.
I had somebody that brought in a phone for service because they said it wasn't working. The touchscreen wasn't working. Their brand new phone, the touchscreen wasn't working. What's going on? Why isn't it working? They had used one of those hand wipes to wash it that had moisturizer. So it was like they had basically put like a cream on the screen. And so sure enough, the screen was like literally unresponsive to fingerprints. So I washed it with isopropyl and came back to
Away it
life.
goes, yeah. Oh gosh. It's like sometimes it's the basic thing.
Yeah.
It's like-
yeah. I did charge them $210 for the call.
Well, that's the last time I put hand cream on before I touch my
Yeah,
phone.
right?
Technology would run so much easier if it wasn't for people.
Oh gosh, don't get started on that.
Then again, we wouldn't need technology.
Our next podcast will be hosted by her
Exactly.
and ChatGPT.
Oh, speaking of ChatGPT, so my family is D&D players,
Yeah.
and my middle son is learning to be a dungeon master, and so he's working on homebrew content. Do you know anything about D&D?
Everything I know about D&D, I have learned from Stranger Things.
Okay, all right. So, homebrew content is basically where you make your own content.
Choose your own adventure.
Well, yeah. So it could be your own monster, it could be your own weapons, could be your own magical items, your own places,
Okay.
whatever it is. And so he's learning to finesse his ability to create monsters and stuff. And so, but one of his struggles is creatively coming up with something new. He's very, analytical, and I love the way he thinks, but it's like, that's one of the areas he needs to grow in. And he loves, trying to be a DM, but he also likes playing. And so we were talking about, because when you're a dungeon master, it's hard to play. There is mechanisms where you can play, but it's tough. And so we started looking at it, and I said to him, like, we should look at ChatGPT to see if ChatGPT could run a dungeon adventure.
Nice.
And so I pulled up ChatGPT and I played with it a little bit. It took a little bit to finesse the finer points to get it to understand what I was looking for.
Right.
But it actually can be a fairly successful dungeon master.
Nice.
So that legitimately you have no clue what's going on.
Right, because it's all coming out of the GPT.
So
Sweet.
because you could buy some of their pre-made adventures and stuff like that, but it's like once you've done it, you know it. And so with ChatGPT, what we did is I was like, okay, and I don't remember the exact instructions, but it's basically like, okay, I want to run a D&D adventure for this many characters. Here's the characters and their stats and their levels and all that kind of stuff. But you play the role of the dungeon master and guide us through the adventure.
Nice.
And then I I want there to be some sort of magical item that could be obtained. I want a twist that nobody knows about. I want, and give some of these
So cool.
parameters.
Yep.
And it just rolls it right through. No pun intended on the roll. But it starts with this backstory where it's like, the adventurers are in this town and this tavern, and here's the backstory. And suddenly you're talking to the mayor, and it's like, okay, the mayor says this, and do you accept the adventure? And
Of course I do.
well, most people would say yes. I'm challenging the ChatGPT to see if it's going to work. So I'm going to ignore that question and do something else. And I completely screwballed with it, and it kept up, but it kept bringing me back to, do you want to do this adventure? And so I'd be like, this character looks at the mayor with skepticism. Enter. And then it responds, and the mayor's like, okay, I can see that you're skeptical. I didn't tell you this because I didn't want to throw you off. And it totally adapts to the impact of what you're saying.
Amazing.
And I even went so far as to throw random stuff in there, like the roof collapses.
Just randomly?
Just randomly, no context whatsoever. And
the guy who's actually running ChatGPT on the other end of it is like,
yeah. Exactly. But it was,
I always picture this little nerdy guy that's just responding to all these questions. He's really quickly flipping through books and stuff of
like the shoe cobbler and his elves and all these little AI elves in the back.
Not more JavaScript.
Yeah, exactly. But it was really cool because it adapted, and it's suddenly there was a rumble, and unnoticed, there was a beam that was, rotting.
Oh, so it actually worked out the
it
backstory
worked out,
of the roof
why
collapse?
it happened, and
nice.
And so then it's in the midst of the chaos, what do you do? Do you accept the adventure or help the patrons in the bar? And it's like, oh, geez, okay, yeah, let's have fun with this. And
nice, man.
And so I'm like, no, we do not accept the adventure. And
Game over.
well, yeah, and that's exactly what I'm picturing. Is it's like game over, and all of a sudden the mayor's like, oh, well, that's too bad. I understand, I get it, but if you're willing, I have something else for you. And it throws a completely other side. And I was like,
Nice.
oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
But what was neat about it is, when it came to things like a battle, like we had this battle, for the purposes of trying it out, I'm like, skip forward to the first battle. Like, I have no clue where the battle scene's supposed to be, but,
Yeah.
ChatGPT's like, okay, you're in this spot. As if like it's already planned it out.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you're surrounded by this, this, and this. And so then I'm thinking about it and I was like, hold on, if ChatGPT is running this, the way D&D works is there's squares that you're on and your character, fills a square, this 5-foot segment, and then you have to move around, kind of chessboard coordinates, if you will.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, it's not factoring that in. So I'm like, where is everybody placed on the map and how big is the map? And ChatGPT's like, oh, it's a 10 by 20 map, and this character is in this spot, this one's in this spot, this one's in this spot, and this one's in this spot. And then I go, okay, that's great. And I'm thinking, I don't know how to visualize that, but ChatGPT is just text, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, draw me a map of that. And in using text, where it's like X is or a O is a tree, and slash is an obstacle.
Yeah.
And I is a square, and X is the characters, and then it draws out this square with all of those things in there, so I can see exactly where everybody is.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is cool.
So do it. Wow.
Yeah, so you can actually do it. Now there was a few times in the battle where, because I'm trying to mess with it, and and the way that D&D works is, you attack somebody, you roll, and does the attack succeed or not?
No,
But-
it works when Vecna takes you into the upside down.
Right, yeah. But what you do is you describe what you do. And so it's like, oh, my character parkours off a tree stump, leaps a log, and smashes down on the goblin with his sword. And so I type that out.
Impressive.
And then I say, oh, I rolled, an N18, and it's like, and ChatGPT comes back like, oh, you hit, roll for damage. Mm-hmm. And so then I say the damage, I roll, and it's like, 2d8, plus 2 for proficiency. And it's like, oh, I rolled 12 damage. And so then ChatGPT's like, this character immediately ran and launched off a tree, traversing over a rock with the sword, swinging down and screaming while it slammed on the goblin's head. The goblin was dazed,
all the
bloody,
adventure of it, eh?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
really, really neat. But where it struggles, because it can't be that perfect, where it struggles is it easily loses its place in combat.
Oh, yeah?
So it'd be like, oh, this monster does this, based on the initiative, this character, you're next, this character, this character, this character, back to the original monster. And it's like, hold on, there's 3 other monsters. So it's like, what happened to the other monsters? Oh, I'm sorry, I completely forgot about them. They're in this role, so this should happen.
Did they program in fallibility? Purposefully?
I don't think so, because it seemed pretty consistent.
Yeah.
I tried a couple different battle scenes, and that kind of popped up as a consistent issue where it lost track of who was in what. And then and the other thing that it loses its place in is when you knock out an enemy, and you bring their hit points down to 0. For instance, this one scenario I did, I was, figure this one out. I was grappling a ghost. Don't know how that happens, but
Yeah.
I was grappling a ghost.
I mean, if you were a Ghostbuster.
Yeah. And so I was using my staff to choke hold, I was behind the ghost,
Okay.
and I was using my staff to hold it at its throat, when the other player came in and slashed and made a killing blow. And that's where it left off for what my character was doing.
Yes.
And we knew that the ghost had died. And it even describes like the ghost, screamed out and vanished into a plume of nothingness.
Yep.
But then it comes back to my character on my turn, and it's like, and Jeff is grappling the ghost. And I'm like, didn't the ghost die? Oh yeah, Jeff is standing there with no ghost to grapple. It's like,
Oh my.
So there's definitely some flaws, but if you're on top of it, it works really well.
Cool.
So, and you're sitting there going, this is way too nerdy for me.
There is no such thing as too nerdy for Robbie, the bald nerd.
But I got thinking about it, because one of the great things about D&D is the creativity of the maps. Because you have these adventures on maps, and obviously, using a text-based map is not as dynamic.
Yep.
But one of the things I've done to upgrade our D&D experience at home is, instead of using, like when we first started, I think it was my birthday, Jen and the kids got me a large map where I can use like a water marker to draw out the map and then erase it and refresh every time. I've since upgraded, and I've bought a 40-inch flat screen TV.
No.
That I just lay on the table. Like it's a 20-pound TV, so it's not heavy at all. And I hook it up by HDMI to my laptop.
Oh, nice.
And I just load an image of the map.
And the map is on the TV,
and the map is
upwards?
on the TV.
Nice.
But there's some really cool services out there where you can use AI to make your own map and stuff like that.
Sweet.
Or you can even build video maps. For instance, like
waterfalls that actually move and stuff?
Yeah. Or you could
Nice.
do like a boat adventure where the waves are splashing up on the boat. Or
So cool.
there's one I see where you're it's like a chariot or a stagecoach race.
Yeah.
And so like you've got these two stagecoaches that are like doing this on the map, kind of moving, and it's it's very cool. But I was like, oh, you know what? To create a platform that it's like my AIDM .com, and you plug it into your laptop, load it up on the TV, and it has AI music, AI writing. Build an AI voice into it where it describes it, and then it generates the maps to go along with the adventure. That would be a phenomenal service.
And you could take that even further, because if it knew, okay, I've created the game board, the map, and I know that so-and-so's character is sitting on this block, it could actually have like ghost figures and stuff attacking that block.
Correct.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude, it was like I was just thinking about it, going, oh, with all this AI, you can do
much
that
potential.
But then, from a MakerTech standpoint, you add a little webcam or something from a Raspberry Pi or other SBC, just on a little stand that views the table where your characters are.
Yeah.
So that, just to your point, where it knows where you are, it's visually seeing them based on the map.
Yeah.
So it knows exactly where they're going and adapts accordingly. So you don't even have to tell the AI what you're doing. You just, I move here, and describe the scenario. And if you've got a microphone built into your SBC where the AI can hear the voices, you could be totally interactive.
Nice.
That would be cool. So, there's another great idea.
Have you ever seen at a museum where they'll have a sandbox, and that sandbox up above has a projector and a 3D scanner of some sort, probably like a VR scanner or something. And so as you play in the sandbox, you make hills and stuff. The scanner can sense the change in the topography, and then the projector projects down new landscapes onto the sand.
Oh, no.
So you can make a hill, and it will cover it in grass, and it will put water around it and stuff like that.
Oh, that is neat.
It's really cool. I think I saw that. I think it was at the nickel mine in Sudbury, if I'm not mistaken, is where I might have seen that.
That is
But
really cool.
Really cool technology, and really, like, it makes me think that would be a neat thing if you could actually like have like a sandcastle kind of thing, and it can actually project down on it and make all kinds of stuff from a projector.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be neat.
That would be very
There's no limits, man.
Oh, I know.
That's some seriously cool tech, and I totally want to use it in my next D&D campaign.
That's a wrap for this episode. We've traveled through the fast food habits of us IT pros, the thrill of solving tech puzzles, and even delved into the creative world of 3D printing and D&D adventures.
Absolutely. We clocked some serious kilometers through a ton of topics.
Ooh, that was nice.
Remember, whether you're troubleshooting the latest tech issues or creating something new with your 3D printer, keep that curiosity and enthusiasm alive.
And don't forget, if you have any questions, comments, or just want to share your own tech adventures, hit us up in the comments. We love hearing from our listeners.
And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. And since we're just starting the engine on the data drive, we'd appreciate your 5 out of 5 review.
Keep tinkering, keep exploring, and stay curious.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm going to have to park for now. See you next time.